Hello, welcome in. If you clicked on this video, you're in a waiting period. Maybe you're waiting for a new job, a move, a new chapter, whatever it is. If you're waiting and feeling like your life is just going through the motions, like you're stuck, almost this sense of dread that you're wasting your life away because you're just waiting and you're just stuck in this lull, then this video is for you. I was sickeningly miserable waiting to move from California to New York for a 6-month period until I discovered and realized this one unlock, which is how to create anticipation so that where my attention goes, my energy flows, and where my attention goes is towards something exciting rather than paying attention to how long I have to wait. What I realized was it wasn't the wait itself that was so miserable. It was because I had my attention focused on how long I had left, and that sense of forever and just this bleak amount of time felt so heavy and is what made me miserable. Let me walk you through a story, then I'll share with you the unlock, an unexpected surprise, and a tool that you can take away with you after you're done with this video. All right, story time. This is a story about where your attention goes, your energy flows. I had about a 6-month period that I had to wait between living in California and moving to New York. And I was so miserable and just so antsy to get my life in New York started. And I was mad that I was still stuck in California and my life just felt like going through the motions and nothing had meaning. Until, I have my nose here by the way, if you see me looking down. Until I discovered an unlock about anticipation. About setting something in the near future to look forward to, something very specific that I could picture. And for me, it was getting excited for my New York apartment here and having 2 things. Number 1, a new Breville espresso machine, specifically the Breville Bambino, because at the time I had really fallen in love with coffee and niche coffee and latte art, and I wanted to move away from my Nespresso pods into something that was more intentional, and I wanted to create a ritual around coffee. And so my Breville Bambino is just over there, and I'm looking at it because it was something that I set in the future that I was looking forward to. The second thing was, once again, in my New York apartment, I was really excited to buy bowl plates. If you are a girly, you know about the bowl plates, the plate bowls. The bowls that are not as deep as a regular bowl and not as flat as a plate, somewhere in between. And why specifically this was something that I was looking forward to was because one of my favorite cafes here in New York City called Banter, but let's have a good banter, or we have a good banter between us, has had these particular bowl plates. And I remember the first time I came to New York, I went to this cafe, enjoyed a delightful breakfast, and fell in love with these bowl plates. And because I set those 2 things to look forward to, it added texture to my near future, and it felt realistic. I could imagine the Breville Bambino machine in my new apartment. I could imagine the bowl plates, and this was powerful because I wasn't trying to imagine me living the private jet life in a New York penthouse by any means, because obviously that is a much further away future. But imagining something as concrete as my espresso machine and the bowl plates gave me something to look forward to. And what I observed happening is that through the anticipation of enjoying the bowl plates and enjoying the ritual of making my lattes, it started to create these feelings of excitement in my current day in California. I would wake up swimming in the juicy emotion and feelings of excitement and the anticipation at having the experiences in my New York apartment. And so what that did is it shifted my energy away from the waiting and the lull and the dread and the drag, and it shifted my attention to something exciting and something coming. Like when you watch a movie trailer and you get excited about watching the movie, it created feelings of excitement within me. And so by swimming in those feelings, it absolutely shifted my perspective and my day-to-day and my remaining days in California. I was no longer looking at how much time I had to wait. Instead, I was looking at how many things I had to look forward to. So that's the note on anticipation. And something unexpected that happened was in creating these things to look forward to, in creating that anticipation inside of me, I actually started appreciating my life in California more. Because I was swimming in feelings of excitement and joy and anticipation, I started looking at my day-to-day life in California through richer, brighter eyes that saw abundance rather than lack. And I started realizing how many things I had to appreciate about California that I was no longer going to have in New York. I started appreciating the fact that I could decide I wanted to go to the beach, hop in my car, drive 20 minutes, and have my toes in the sand. I started appreciating the streets lined with palm trees and the peripheral eye-to-eye view of the sunset that just was never ending. I started appreciating going to my favorite coffee shops for the last few times. I started appreciating my commute to work, my apartment I was living in, times I had with friends or co-workers, because I started realizing that those moments were very limited and finite because I was about to move. And I shifted my focus and attention away from the dread of how long I had left until I moved, and I started focusing on how few days I had left until I moved. And in the moments of focusing on the impermanence of my experiences left in California, I started appreciating the life that I got to live and the life that I had there. Even something as simple as how much joy I got from getting to walk in my neighborhood around my apartment. That was a very suburban, quaint neighborhood where the streets were lined with flowers and people kept their grass and their lawn super manicured. And I knew that in New York City I wouldn't really get that sense of calm anymore. And so I started appreciating with such richness my life that I had. And once again, it was because I shifted my attention. So to recap that, two things: anticipation and appreciation. By shifting my focus on things that I had to look forward to, it changed my outlook because I started counting the abundance of things I had to look forward to rather than how long I had until I got to move. Second thing, appreciation. This was the surprise. This was the magic, that because I was swimming in these feelings of excitement and joy and anticipation, it allowed me to see the world that I was living in, the life that I was living, with a greater sense of appreciation. And that was definitely the unexpected magic from shifting my attention. And by shifting my attention away from how much longer I had to wait to live the life I wanted to be living, I shifted my attention on how finite the days were left of getting to live in the environment that I was. So, why does this work? Two things. as it relates to anticipation, anticipation actually works because of dopamine. Dopamine is released before the reward, i.e., when I was anticipating enjoying making my lattes in my Breville Bambino or enjoying eating out of my bowl plates, I was actually getting the dopamine while anticipating those experiences, not when I got the thing. Not when I was here and I unboxed it. That's not when the dopamine was at its peak. It was actually in the anticipation. So anything in life, if you want to start swimming in those feel-good chemicals, just start anticipating the things you're going to look forward to, the reward, and then your brain will start releasing the dopamine. And by having that sense of direction and forward momentum, it also stopped my brain from spiraling in the doom and the unexpected lull of how long I had left until I got to move. And it gave me a sense of, once again, clarity and direction, because I had that forward momentum pulling me towards something exciting and meaningful to me. Why does appreciation work? I kind of mentioned it, but appreciation is at its peak when we recognize something's temporary, when we recognize the impermanence in something. Appreciation dulls when we think something is forever, and when we think something's permanent, then we kind of have a low level of appreciation for it. Maybe if you're like me, now that I'm older and reaching the end of my 20s, I appreciate my parents much more than I ever did when I was a teenager, because the time I have with them feels more finite and feels more impermanent, versus when I was a teenager and a child, it felt as if it was a forever situation. And so that's how appreciation works. When we remind ourselves that things are temporary, we increase the likelihood that the capacity that we appreciate the thing. So that's why it works. Anticipation and appreciation. It's all to do with the psychology and the neuroscience, and I love understanding that, because then that gives us the power to hack it. Last but not least, the tool. The tool I want to leave you with is going to be called the near future anchor. What is the anchor that you can drop in the near future that's very specific and easy to paint a picture of it in your mind? For me, as I just mentioned, it was the Breville Bambino espresso machine to make my lattes and enjoy the ritual of coffee art. And secondly, it was the bowl plate bowls, and just imagining making my breakfast and dinners in these dishes was bringing me a sense of joy. So you can see how simplistic that is. For you, it could be looking forward to a date you have coming up with a friend or a lover. It could be looking forward to an event or an experience, a party, a concert. It could be looking forward to travel. It could be looking forward to the experience of feeling the sun on your skin when you're at your travel destination. It could be looking forward to the experience and novelty of a new dance class that you're going to take, or a ceramics class, or a baking class. It could be looking forward to getting into the grind of work, of working on a essay, working on a song, working on editing a picture that you took. Whatever it is, pick something that's so vivid in your head in the near future and drop that anchor, because that's going to help you experience those feel-good feelings and start swimming in those feel-good feelings of anticipation. And then maybe, just maybe, you'll get to experience the same joy and magic that I did when I started appreciating my current reality, my current existence. So look out for those two things and use the new near future tool. Before we go, please comment your near future anchor in the comments, because one, you may inspire someone to do whatever your near future anchor is. You may inspire and unlock an idea in someone else's head, and what a beautiful gift that is to give someone. And then two, it's a way of keeping yourself accountable, because when you write out and actually consciously think and then put it into words, your near future anchor, it almost drops the anchor even deeper. It makes the anchor even heavier and stronger, and that's a benefit to you. So I can't wait to read what you say in the comment. And please, you are welcome and you are invited to subscribe if you want to pass more notes between each other on how to activate your edge, your excellence, and your elegance, because that's what we are here for. We are here to build a life that is extraordinary. Until next time, I can't wait to read those anchors.